Welcome to 40 Below Zero, an international podcast about life with invisible illnesses, hosted by two guys living with multiple sclerosis. Coming to you from the Keystone State of Pennsylvania, I'm your co-host Nix, and with me on this ride is Terry, a Londoner who calls Ontario home. We're so happy you're here with us as we continue to try and normalize a life that is anything but. So let's get into it. What's going on, Warriors? Welcome back to another episode. Terry, good to see you again, my friend. How are things?
Yeah, good to see you too, bro. What's going on with you?
Little brain foggy morning we got here going on. I'm in the trenches. How about you?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So
I got good sleep, but I'm still a little tired. Whatever. You know how it is.
I do know how it is because just there's some times where it just doesn't matter how many hours your head is on the pillow. You just wake up tired and try to go about your day.
Yeah.
So,
exactly. I want to bring up something. Do you remember last episode I was talking to you about the two flowers? I wanted you to guess which one was Katrina's favorite. Do you remember the two that I mentioned? It was daffodils.
Daffodils and dandelions.
And dandelions.
Right. Which one was it?
So I asked her, and she said, they're neither. She's like, Terry, daisies.
Oh,
I'm like,
boy.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And she's like, which one did Nick pick? I'm like, I think he said dandelions because they're weeds and they're easier to kill or something.
Yeah, that's why I said it. Oh, my God.
And she's like, what the fuck?
No, I don't think we'll have to play the tape back. I don't think that's why I said
daisies. Okay.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Okay.
My goodness. Before we get into our guest, I happened to see on YouTube that there is a new blood test out there. And the blood test is for people who are on Ocrevus. I don't know how widespread it is. I have to verify this, so I wouldn't take this as gospel, but the blood test is they check a certain level of your B cells to see if they've started to regenerate. So from what I understand, this blood test is for people over 60 for now, but I'd imagine at some point it would be available for everybody. But the idea is that instead of just hardlining every 6 months for Ocrevus, the idea is they would say, okay, you have enough B cells, you can take your Ocrevus now, because the concern is that in persons over 60, they might not regenerate as fast. So now you're killing the B cells that you really shouldn't be, and you're opening your levels are going to drop too low, and then you would open yourself up for infection and other things because you don't have an immune system at that point, or you have a very, very weakened one. So it's good to see that they're making modifications and tweaking it a bit. Like I said, I only heard it in one spot, but it was from a pretty credible source, so I'm going to verify it. And then hopefully, as the months and years go by, it'll trickle down and it'll just be something where everybody customizes their treatment plan, because, I think that's a good thing, don't you? Like,
great, bro. Did we talk about this last time? I remember hearing about this. I'm like, was it from you?
No, I don't think so. I don't think we talked about it, but
I heard about this. The blood work, it makes so much sense. That's why we have the crap gap, because it runs out, and you made sense of it to me.
No, that's what it was. You and I talked about it off the show.
Okay.
Because
that's what it was.
It would be nice to be able to tailor your treatment course specifically to when you need it, and not just like, but there's so many legal things involved to having a medication out there. So, and I understand why they just say, okay, this is the safety parameter. Everybody exists within this 6-month cycle.
So, but 6 months, so they're keeping it safe, right?
Right.
So really they're like 6 months. So they're like 4.5, 5 months. So they're taking a risk with that month of us getting sick, but they have no choice, right? Because they don't have the...
Right. Yeah, because the science, the science that they based the whole thing on suggested that it takes 6 months to replenish these cells. But now they're finding that, obviously not everybody's the same, and that There are some people that might need it every 4 months, and maybe some people that could go 9 months. And
So they're progressing with this medication. So in 2 years, people are going to be on Ocrevus and they're going to be like, whoa, can you believe like just 2 years ago, they were just taking it every 6 months, hoping it was the
yeah,
right time. And
yeah,
I'm just saying, in another 10 years, we're going to be like, yo, we
it-
were taking injections for this stuff.
yeah.
All you
Now it's a
needed was
pill.
oxygen therapy.
Yeah, right.
Yo, you know that 10-minute injection with the Ocrevus?
Yes,
It's
yes.
called the, now I'm learning a little more about it because everyone has their mixed information. Some say it's 10 minutes, some say it is a 10-minute injection, but you got to sit there for 2 hours. Like, whoa, 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 whoa,
It's
whoa.
crazy. I don't know about
What's
that.
going on? What is it? Is it a 10-minute? And it's that word
Subcutaneous.
thanks,
You're welcome.
subcutaneous. Wow, can you believe I said that word before I
I
said
can.
jujitsu? So yeah, that's under the skin, 10 minutes. So I still have a lot more to learn about that. I'm curious. It is out.
But the nice thing is that we have options. I mean, we now, how lucky are we to have so many options to treat this? I mean, believe me, I don't ever take for granted the fact that I can move medications if this one, the one I'm on doesn't work. Um, and it really makes me think backwards in time to the people who they were like, good luck, you know, and that was it. So we've come a
You
long
think
way.
you have MS? Come here into the bathtub. Let's see. Put on the hot water.
Yeah,
Like,
basically. so, so yeah, if you're a person, if you're someone, it's definitely worth looking into. Is what I'm getting at. It's and like I said, it's not appropriate for me at this time or you, but eventually in the future it will be. And it will. I mean, if you're the kind of person who can go out to not, however longer than 6 months before you need a re-up, then it will it will it will minimize the impact on your body, therefore making you able to stay on the medication longer, and then letting it do what it does for longer in your life. So it's promising. It's promising. It's very
it
promising.
makes sense why I didn't get the crap gap the first time. You know what I mean? I'm like, I didn't get it. It's just because of the balance. It makes
Right.
sense now.
Right. So I
All
just
right.
wanted to bring that up because it was some news that I had stumbled across in the MS community.
Thanks,
But
man.
this full disclaimer, go to your society's website, talk to your doctor, all that fun
Of
stuff.
course.
Terry and I are here
We
just to
just
make you
want you to
laugh.
be aware. I get, right?
Right, right, exactly. We're here for comic relief. Terry, I see that our guest is in the waiting room.
Yes.
Very special returning guest. I believe she's from season 1 or 2, very early on. She's doing great things, and she has quite the story. So let's bring in Karen Jacoby. Karen, good to see you again.
Hi. Nice to see you as well. It's been 3 years, you guys. Do you
Wow.
know that?
Yeah,
I
were you
know. I'm
season 1 or season 2? I can't remember.
repping.
Hey.
What?
Yeah.
It had to be season 1 or 2 because
Season
of
1,
that,
yeah,
right?
with the
Yeah,
gray
Yeah,
shirt.
yeah,
season 1, yeah.
Wow.
yeah.
Woo! The
That's
audio
Well,
cool.
thank
season.
you for having me back. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. The audio season. That's right.
Well, it is fantastic to see you again. I've heard from Terry that you have been up to some amazing things, and I can't wait to hear what you've been up to. Terry tells me you're a committee member now. You've ascended from ambassador up the chain.
Did I say that right?
Well,
I hope I
if
didn't.
I can
Okay.
be so humble, I can share that I'm actually the lead national chair of the MS ambassadors
What?
on behalf of MS Canada. So I oversee the executive and close to over 100 ambassadors from coast to coast to coast. So very exciting that we're continuing to move this mission forward, especially with the help of fantastic voices like yours that bring this highlight all of the great things that are happening for sure.
Well, thank you. Too kind. And with full humility, we say thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
So tell me about that role. That's got to be a coordinating nightmare sometimes. That's a lot of plates to juggle.
Well, I'm sure you can recognize how important it is to hold space for the MS community. And there are so many people, and a lot of them are on your podcast sharing their stories of impact because they really do want to make a meaningful difference. So having this program and the ambassador program specifically allows people to feel like they're affecting change and making a difference. And I always say to myself, I do as much as I can in the ways that I can for as long as I can, because it is so unpredictable living with this disease. And you just want to feel like getting getting the finger point from Terry. So
Did you say
I'm
that? Did you
glad
say
that
that the last time? You said that the last
I
time, the
might
exact
have.
same quote. I love
Probably.
it.
It's
Okay.
something that I carry with me everywhere. That's something that speaks to me and speaks to many other people. They tell me I'm getting chills right now. You're providing me with resources and opportunities for me to feel seen and heard and yeah, so it's very, very rewarding. Naturally, there is a lot of effort and as you mentioned, a lot of coordination, but right now we're looking at trying to turn Canada red for World MS Day. So landmarks are getting illuminated on May 30th, and including the CN Tower. Of course, I'm from Toronto, Ontario, so that's pretty meaningful to me. It's not just Drake, Iceman making things happen. It's MS Warriors making things happen too. So
So
uh,
cool.
that's our next biggest piece. And I don't know if you're familiar with that Drake, I think one of his sound engineers or somebody who is part of his team it lives with multiple sclerosis. So I mean, Drake, this is an invitation. 40 below. Come on.
There it is.
Let's get
Wow.
that out there.
Respect.
But you guys have come a long way too.
Yes, we have. Thank
Thank
I
you.
you.
mean, I was reflecting on when I was here last and all the great podcasts since, and you've grown it to such an amazing channel. So congratulations to you.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all celebrating birthdays.
Thank you.
I am attending and participating in this podcast because this is a very meaningful month for me, as we mentioned, with World MS Day, MS Walk. It's MS Awareness Month in Canada, but specifically this December, I am turning 40. So it is a
Welcome
year
to the
of a
club.
lot of review. Thank you. I'm excited to be part of the club and a
Nice.
lot to reflect on for sure with how far we've all come.
You don't even look close to that age. And I'm not just saying that. Everybody's looking and saying the same thing. But did you know that Nick is going to be here for MS Walk in Toronto?
Yeah, my Terry's
Oh,
putting it out there. I'm gonna
Oh, I was
try.
going to say, really? Because I am part of the walk committee and I have a
I'm
lot
gonna
of
try.
exciting things happening. So come on. I know. We got to get
But
you
I
here.
but I can say for our listeners, if you are, especially if you're newly diagnosed, but you don't have to be at any point. If you feel helpless and lost and that like you're just not engaged and you feel like you don't have anywhere to go, getting involved with your society's ambassador program is life changing. I, other than meeting Terry, it is the single greatest thing I've done in my MS journey, specifically for me to feel connected to everybody. Um, you just meet so many people. It's just unbelievable. You're just this whole new community opens up and they're just like, "Hey, where you been?"
and you become an advocate, right? That's the main thing. It's like we need as many advocates as possible. It's like, remember I was saying to the other guest we had on, I'm like, the more podcasters, the better. She's like, we like to call them advocates. I'm like, yeah, exactly.
Absolutely. Yeah. And more importantly, to be connected with people who understand. That is just so important because it feels different when you're speaking to people who obviously support you and are wanting the best for you and always wanting to make suggestions to be helpful. But when you actually speak to somebody who's experienced some of your challenges or understand what MS actually looks like, to your point, it is life changing. It is feeling in solidarity and feeling connected to the right community. So I feel very, very lucky to be invited to be back here. So thank you again. And I'm very happy to speak to the incredible ambassador program that we have in Canada and all the, I mean, I could take up like a whole week of podcasts just speaking to all the exciting events that are happening and the initiatives. I mean, they're just so inspired. So I'm very happy to highlight an incredible, incredible team for sure.
So, what is the big push for MS Canada this year? I know there's always usually something that they focus on year to year.
Are we speaking specifically to the advocacy team,
Yes,
I guess?
yes,
Because we're always working towards something.
yes, yeah. That's what I mean. Like,
I did participate in Day on the Hill again. So I've been living with MS for 6 years, 6 MS walks. 6 different Day on the Hills. I mean, during the pandemic, it was more online and virtual. But we are asked, as per usual, is looking for continued research, investment in research for multiple sclerosis, and also specifically cleaning up or modernizing our disability tax credit. That here in Canada, there's a huge part of our community that is not being included and is not eligible. And it requires a lot of work, not only from patients, but from doctors. And unfortunately, we haven't felt recognized in terms of our episodic disability, that it's day to day, that really the way we should be filling out the disability tax credit for eligibility is on your worst day. But technically, they're looking for about 90% marked disability. So, for instance, today I'm here, I have some energy, I'm happy to speak, and I've been able to wash my hair and prepare my meal. But tomorrow I might not be able to get out of bed. I might have full leg paralysis and have mobility issues. So, and it hasn't quite recognized what that looks like, and it doesn't align. It is the cornerstone to all the grants and benefits available in Canada. So if you can't be eligible for the DTC, it eliminates a lot of access to a lot of other pieces. And there are other pieces that actually are consistent with the Accessible Canada Act definition of disability, which includes episodic. So we're just saying, let's just align all of these processes and all of these benefits and to make sure that the over 90,000 Canadians living with Canada's disease can be included.
Yeah, makes total sense. I'd said
For
on a
sure.
previous episode, people with disabilities are the only ones who have to justify how they exist, and it's terrible.
You say, always act, not act. Like it's your worst day, right? When you're filling out the forms, like it's your worst day. So last night I couldn't even, and I never talked about this because it's like 2 minute. It's not a 2 minute thing. It's like an evening thing, and in the morning it goes away. I could not open my hand. My hand was like this, and it was really the stamina. I'm like, what's going on? Is it the muscle? It's the stamina. It wouldn't allow me to open my hand, dude. It was a little scary because I'm trying to pick up stuff and I'm like, is this how it's going to be in the morning? In the morning, gone. I'm fine. So if I had a form to fill, I would not remember that happened to me. I'm just saying the little things like that we forget about. So thanks for
Definitely.
saying that.
I've experienced that as well. I like to give little nicknames to all of my symptoms because humor can help you get through the days. And so I call that the claw. And specifically, I feel like I'm T Rex. So I'm like, I'm having a T Rex moment right now. And when I have full leg paralysis and mobility issues, and I feel like I'm freezing up, I call that the Tin Man syndrome. It's just, for whatever reason, I feel like I can have a relationship with multiple sclerosis by giving it a name and having some kind of, I don't know, cartoon caricature
Yeah,
regarding anything that's happened. So,
and
so I know
and it
exactly
makes
how you're feeling. I've had that too. I have been a T-Rex for days on end, for sure.
it makes total sense because a little while ago, maybe last season, we had talked about how MS is your walking partner for the rest of your life. So sometimes it's going to tell you how to walk, sometimes it's going to walk silently behind you, or walking is a metaphor, apply as necessary, but it'll be there. And it'll always be just like Terry did a whole it was so great. Terry put all these videos together, these short little clips. It was like a monster
I was
that was
just thinking
running
that
around. Yep, it was so good.
where the MS is holding your legs as you're walking. That's the one. Yes, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's the one. That was a good one. We need to bring that one back.
Definitely. And I'm here today speaking with you because I'm walking with two partners. I'm walking with two different friends, as you put it. I live with multiple sclerosis. I'm an MS warrior, but I'm also somebody who I consider to be an infertility warrior. So that's a completely new community that I have been exposed to over these past few years. And it's something that I felt important to speak to because there's a lot of women who are diagnosed with multiple sclerosis during their childbearing years, during their career building years. And the way that we've planned life to look hasn't quite settled in the ways that we'd like to. So I definitely understand what that feels like because they're both invisible journeys and they're both always with us, whether it's through resilience or hope or grief. And that's something that in my 40 years I'm reflecting on, and I'm hoping that in my next decade I can start realizing some of these dreams.
Thank you. And I just want to acknowledge the vulnerability as I do and the strength it takes to say that here on the show. So thank you so much for saying that. Um, now, because it's not something that I've had to, would you be okay with explaining how receiving that news compounded the news of the MS, and how they kind of interplay for you was?
Course, and I appreciate you asking the question because this isn't something that I speak to about with a lot of different people, but like you shared, I appreciate you acknowledging my vulnerability and that you have a very safe space to be able to speak to some of these sensitivities. And like I said, I only share my stories, no different than MS. When you hear someone else's story, all of a sudden you hear that they've gone through something similar or they felt alone or isolated, and then they feel more seen by hearing um, some of these specific personal pieces that people have to offer. So that's part of why I think this is a really great opportunity for me to speak to this a little bit. So for me, I was diagnosed, as you would have from the last episode, at the beginning of 2020 in January. So this was during COVID, this was during lockdown, and we had to make choices about treatment. So at this point, I'm so overwhelmed. I'm 33 years old. I always knew I wanted to be a mother, but that was not at the forefront of my decision making, if you will. I was just trying to be healthy and find a way through what I was experiencing. But it was interesting because when I was first diagnosed and I was selecting treatment, one of the first questions my neurologist asked me was what were my plans regarding family planning? Because depending on treatment choice, depending on timing, that can look different. So my boyfriend at the time, now my husband, was in the clinic room with me, and he said immediately, he said the treatment that was suggested to me would require me, because I had such a progressive form, they had to make sure that I had calmed my nervous system and that it was working before I started to explore family planning. And that could be up to 2, maybe even 3 years. So they need to see that I was stable, and that would cause a timing shift. And my husband now had said, if we're lucky enough to start a family, we need a healthy mom. So we are doing anything we can to look after Karen first, and then we can figure it all out, which I am so appreciative of, that I have such a supportive partner. So that's how our decision making started. And then I thought maybe I should go to a fertility specialist. I am getting a little bit older. I do live with multiple sclerosis. I just need to recognize what this could look like for me. At the time, nothing was identified. This is unexplained infertility, if you will. And he just kind of said, you can try naturally, and if it doesn't happen for you, come back in about a year. So we thought, okay. And he said, okay, and when you go get pregnant, you have to give me credit. Like, you saw me. So you got to plug this, right? So we were thinking, oh, we're really hopeful. Like this is okay. I gotten the green light from my neurologist. I can move forward with this. And we tried, and it wasn't happening for us. And then we had to start exploring IVF and different treatments. And so we were lucky to be able to have some healthy, what is called, I have learned so much about the medical system and the care system. I know more about fertility and myelin demyelination than I ever thought I would. So I've become this I don't know, this person that is learning so much about myself and about life. So yeah, we were lucky to get a few healthy embryos and euploids, and our first transfer happened. I think it would have happened in 2024. And actually, Terry had reached out to me around that time to see if I would be available to join the podcast again. But unfortunately, that was around the time that we had success in our transfer, but it resulted in a loss. And I just wasn't sure if I had the energy at that time to join. But I always joke because the chances of what happened to us happening, I did the math, was like 0.000004%. We had I could get
Wow.
into the specifics, but I don't want to take up your time on on a MS specific podcast, if you will. But yeah, there was just a lot of high risk. There was splitting. It was monoamniotic, and then the create a trap sequence. Like, it was just unfortunate. It was really unfortunate that we had that demise. And since then, unfortunately, we have not been successful in our transfer. So we're hoping, fingers crossed, number 6 is the lucky number here, guys. I hope
Okay,
next
we're
time I'm
pulling
on the
for you.
call that I can come with really exciting
I hope
information.
you
But
I hope you
that's
interrupt the
what it
show.
yeah, I will. I'll be DMing and be like, "Hey,
Call Terry.
I have some news." So yeah, to your so the initial question, I just want to give some context as to how this came about. Um, it had me reflecting again on identity. It had me reflecting on loss. Like, I felt like MS had taken so much from me. I didn't want being a mother to be something else. And, I had to you had to start considering what it is your body can and cannot do. So I feel like it is so aligned with the MS experience. So in terms of being diagnosed with MS, I feel like it's prepared me for this new challenge, if you will. But it's I'm very heavy with it. I sit with it, and and it's tough to really reflect on your value. Because I mean, with women specifically, a lot of us who do want to be mothers, we find so much significance and identity in becoming a mother. So not potentially living a life where that's not going to happen for me has been challenging. It's had to renegotiate relationships, set new boundaries, but more importantly, it's taught me to be joyful, to be in the moment, and to be present. Because there was so much in my life was, oh, when I get pregnant, or when I'm a mom, or when I'm, and MS disrupts that, and then infertility disrupts that.
So well spoken. You know how much I appreciate you. It was a huge thing for me to bring you on Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Month, and I'm so glad I got to meet your husband.
He's so glad he got to meet you too.
You've certainly shown us the second level of warrior that you ascended to because of this. So you are now a higher level warrior. So, and we appreciate you. Um, and you're right. It is not, you know, we spend a lot of time on this show talking about identity and talking about ego, but it's from a perspective of the male perspective of what do we do to define who we are, not what we're inherently born with to that makes who we are. So, me of many words is stumbling a bit. So, thank you is all I can say.
That's okay. Yeah, I
um,
didn't wanna overwhelm anybody because I
no,
know
it's
sometimes people don't know how to respond, and don't worry, like, I know everybody on this call, and I'm sorry, I'm hearing in my headset that I'm getting low battery, which I just charged, so if for some reason I have to take off the headset, that's
it's
again,
okay.
we're flowing with
Totally
it.
fine.
Um,
Yes, we are.
but like I said yeah, exactly.
But I
But
did
yeah,
have a question
go ahead. Go
regarding
ahead.
the IVF and the DMTs. How did they play into that? Did you have to stop if you were on a DMT or what was that like?
Yeah, I mean, to a certain extent, for safety reasons, there was a flushing out time. It wasn't anything incredibly disruptive, but as of today and my last neurological appointment with this treatment, I'm good to go at any time. So again, it's a moving target with these DMTs, and as we continue to get more research and more information, uh, it's really, really important to like have those conversations with your healthcare team because there's some fantastic things happening in research and science, and there's a lot of ways that managing your MS doesn't have to interfere with also your family planning. So,
I was at a conference a while ago and the advocate who got up to speak, she said, "It's a great time to have MS." Because of all the stuff that we have available.
well, absolutely. And I talk to other people within the community and people who were diagnosed a long time ago, people who had mothers living with MS. There was times where you would get diagnosed and you were told not to have children. Like they would actually, the doctor would say, "Do not have children." So the fact that we're in a place now where we can make those considerations, I think, is really, really impactful and really important. And I mean, again, each person, I'm not going to speak on behalf of specific people that I know because these are their private stories, but I know people living, and part of why I'm bringing this to your podcast is people living with MS and women who have to make these decisions. There's people who have decided not to have children because they're concerned that they can't show up as the mothers they hope to be, right? There's people like myself who would like to have children, but having some challenges. I partnered with a new assessment tool, and one of the videos that I recorded was about family planning. And I was receiving a lot of different comments about, "Oh, I appreciate your vulnerability and this is so important to me and I'm glad that you're speaking to this so honestly. But then I also received some comments about, who are you? Why would you ever do this to your child? This is the worst thing that could ever happen to a child. And I know because my mom lived, so there's a lot of different opinions, but it's just important to know your story, know who you are, and understand that you are loved and you are valued beyond what your body can do or what you think you can or cannot. Like, I think it's just really important to approach everyone with kindness and understanding, and kind of the identity versus the heart piece, right? So I
As
I know
and
that it's a sorry.
No, it's okay, and I was gonna say, like Terry says, you have to approach everyone like they have all the things behind closed doors that you do too.
Mhm. Yeah, everyone's
CBT.
fighting battles we know nothing about. That's what it is, really. And everybody has something. Like, for instance, this morning I was concerned I wasn't going to be able to make this podcast because my mom's a heart patient. And I got a phone call from her at 10 a.m. that she was calling the paramedics and she had to go to the hospital. So the reality is, we all have a story. We all have something. This just happens to be my thing, right? So I always hold space for everybody and their different experiences and how they can engage in life. And yeah, it's
Is
just
mom
very important.
okay? Think you're here.
She
Is
is.
she okay?
Yes.
It's like she
She's
must be
okay.
okay
I
if you came on the
yeah,
call.
I'm not a terrible daughter who's like, "Sorry."
No, I didn't
Yeah.
say
No,
that.
but it's Terry.
Yeah.
No, no, I'm just joking.
When 40 below
But
calls,
I
you
was
answer.
happy. Exactly. That's how I is. Call to action. That's how I am.
You
But
know
yeah,
how much respect we have for you. If you'd have to reschedule, we'd be like, "Go," like,
I know. I was
"Okay, okay,
prepared, and I knew that you'd
okay."
understand. But yeah, no, I was just happy I could be there for her. This She's been here for me so many times when I needed support. So it's good for her to know that it's reciprocal. And so my husband's with her right now, and she's fine, and we're good.
Good
Thumbs
to hear
up.
that.
You know how you say everybody's got a story, and no one should be able to criticize someone else's story or say, "Hey, that's nothing compared to what that guy is going through," right? But everyone's story is their story. Even if you break a nail, if that's traumatic to you, that's traumatic to you, right? We're not allowed to say, "Hey, it's just a broken nail, you'll be fine." No, everyone's story is their story.
I agree. Couldn't agree more.
We are also pushing for similar things down here with the society. I mean, I feel like they're pretty aligned. I feel like your top level people talk to our top level people so that we're all.
Of course.
Um, but we're also looking for funding for researching, m- most, especially this year because of what happened last year with our funding. So trying to make up that gap. And there's been some promising things coming down the pike. It could always be better, but it could always be better. So
Yeah. The work's not done. The work is not done. There's always something, an opportunity. And I'm happy I'm gonna be celebrating my 40th birthday this year, but also to my American brother over there, you guys are celebrating your 250th.
250.
So,
Yep.
speaking to
Especially,
natural MS,
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it's pretty wild. I can tell you that, I'm not too far away from Philadelphia, and you can definitely see that there's a lot of things head in that direction to ramp up for the big celebration. Um, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I hope it's good.
well, I actually just came back from, Boston in April because my
Okay.
husband's never been there, walked the Freedom Trail, the whole thing. I have to say,
Yes.
though, everybody was very, very kind. I had my walker. Everyone was respectful. They moved to the right. They would have a little classroom behind them and say, "Okay, kids, we're moving over to the side." Like, they had acknowledged my disability, and I appreciated that so much. And that kind of ties me back, not to go back to the family planning's piece, but it kind of all comes together. Football, American football. I'm sure you've been following the number one draft for the Raiders,
Yeah. Yeah. He
Fernando
made it,
Mendoza.
made a big deal. Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
and and when I saw those videos that he posted about his mom and his why, that just made me feel so confident in moving forward with our family planning to say, "Hey, you know what? His mom's in a wheelchair. His dad doesn't get up when they're clapping out of respect." I just thought that was a really beautiful, beautiful
Yeah.
family.
That was a beautiful moment when they highlighted that. And it just goes to show you that, the family planning in every aspect, whether you were someone like me who already had kids when he was diagnosed or someone who's trying to have kids, it integrates wholly into your life. So if it's something that you is, wanna I don't wanna say want to avoid, but it's something that you don't feel is right for your family, it doesn't have to be. If it's something that you really, really want, then it can be. It's just gonna be a part of it's already a part of you, so why wouldn't it be a part of your whole life, right? And if I remember correctly, he said he was donating a large sum of his first paycheck to the MS Society. I don't remember the exact, but that's what I heard.
Well, I feel like we're inviting Drake to this podcast. Now we gotta
Yeah.
invite the Mendozas. Like, we just have to
Yep, we
get it out
keep going
Whoa,
there.
up.
whoa, whoa. I
We're
gotta learn
going.
football.
Yes, and
It's
quickly.
okay.
It's not
Who's
complicated
Mendoza?
at
I
all.
heard of the Mendoza brothers. That has nothing to do with that.
No,
Oh.
no, no, no.
Okay, I'm sorry. Okay.
No, this young man was a first round draft pick. I believe the Jets drafted him. Um,
The
and
Raiders.
the
Vegas
Raiders, I'm
Raiders.
sorry. You're better off than I am. I'm sorry.
But
I
yeah,
don't
the
follow the
Vegas
draft.
Raiders.
Mhm.
I'm just
But
joking.
yeah,
I don't know who he
he
is.
definitely put a big spotlight onto MS and the MS Society. Um, for maybe for some people who hadn't, like we think everybody knows about it because it's who we are and it's what we do, but there's still a large number of people out there who only know the two letters and that's the end of it. So, his awareness that really elevated it even
There
more
must be
so.
a lot of people who are still in the closet with their MS. Because I
Yes.
remember there was a reporter that came out and he had it for like 30 years and he just came out. I forget his name. There was a reporter, I think he was on
CNN.
CNN.
John King.
Well, yeah, it was John King. It was John King. I don't know why I can't remember that.
Third invitation.
There it
John
is. We're
King.
just dropping
Here we
all
go.
the
We'll just
names
keep
today.
dropping them. Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's
Dropping
do
them,
it.
tag them, get them in
Yeah.
here. But no, but that's what we need. We just need constant pressure publicly. Like just be like, "Hey, we're still here." Like, "Hey," and what do they call it? The ribbon coalition, I think it was referred to as. Every disease has a ribbon, so if you put all those ribbons together, it becomes a ribbon coalition. I don't know if that is true, but that's what I heard somewhere. But that's what we need. We need everybody to advocate to be like, "Hey, we're all individual people. You can't blanket treat everything and understand that there's nuances to each individual that come to the table."
I got a side question, just something I've been confused about. The ribbons we use, is it orange or red?
Well, mine are as orange.
Yeah. United States is orange. In Canada, because it's through MS Canada, and the colors were red. But I find that's a thing. Like, we never align with US in terms of these campaigns. Like, I know like the fertility color for us is green, but for you guys is orange. So you're
Oh.
kind of in competition with MS and fertility, and I don't know what else. I'm not sure. There's hope. I'm getting
Yeah,
I'm getting
yeah.
updates.
If you got to go, go. Don't even
No, 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 I
apologize
don't
to
have
us.
to go. I'm just
Okay.
excited because I
Okay.
just got another donation to my MS walk. So it just popped up and I was like, "Ooh,
Yay.
what's happening? Yay, see?
So where
This
where
is
is this
how we
walk
can have
happening?
a grassroots movement, right? It might not be coming federally immediately, but events like MS Walk, for those who want to get involved, we can make a difference for sure.
They
Yeah.
have there's a very big bike ride that goes from Philly, ride to the shore. So it goes from Philadelphia to the Jersey Shore. It's very well attended every year. There's hundreds of riders that do it. And it's one of those events that's so big that people who aren't even connected to MS, who just like to ride bikes for long periods of time, get involved. Like I have a friend, um, and he's been doing it for years. And he said, before I knew you were diagnosed, he goes, I just like riding. So
Did
we'll
Yeah,
take
Did you
them too.
say
Anybody who raises
yeah,
money is
definitely.
welcome.
Absolutely.
Did you say you have a friend?
Yes, outside of you, Terry, I unfortunately I do. I just happen to grow up with this guy.
Well, it's all aligning. The universe is conspiring in our favor. There's people in place ready to help support for sure.
You maybe I shouldn't be saying this. And Terry, the Terry effect. When I go to these hubs, to help out and everything, when I encounter someone like you at the hub, it kind of the motivation's killed because I'm like, yo, she does so much. What am I gonna do? I know you're gonna say no, everyone matters and all this stuff, but sometimes you do so much, and I'm like, I go in there, I just feel so useless. You know,
No, not at
that's my
all.
comment. That's it.
No.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I like I don't, I go somewhere and I got them to put the flag up, or I got them to turn the lights on, and I feel like those are little things compared to what you do. You know, I'm like, man. So
Well,
So
we don't measure that kind of impact. I know you
I know
said,
you
"Oh, I know what you're
don't.
gonna say," but the reality is, like I mentioned, it's a grassroots movement. If everybody just raises a flag, it turns from 1 flag to 200 flags. If everybody gets the landmark lit up red, it goes from 2 to 1,000, right? So we make so much more of an impact and we have so much more visibility and we're only stronger together because guess what? You might think I do a lot and I appreciate you recognizing my efforts, but I cannot light up 2,000 landmarks and I can't get 300 flags raised. I need a whole team of people and I'm just here to help move the mission forward and to help with resources and to help with coordination. And so I always say if you're the smartest person in the room, you are in the wrong room. And I can tell you that when I'm in hubs, I am in the right room because we all have something to contribute. We're all learning. So that none of this, no, Terry, no.
You're awesome. Thank you.
I will say that I felt the same way when I first started doing those emails when the action alerts would come out. And I'd be like, what impact is my one email going to have or my one call to some voicemail for some senator's office? I'm like, what's really the impact? But then when you hear people from the society saying just what you said, like, we sent 14,000 emails to this senator, it's like, oh, I was one of those. Like if they read the same thing 14,000 times, they would be like, okay, this is important, like, so yes,
Absolutely.
your one flag counts and is important.
Absolutely.
Not
Yeah. Well, that's even in like government relations. That's what voting looks like, right? Everybody's vote matters. You want to make a difference and that's how different candidates win and that's how different administrations can move different agendas forward, right? So it's the same. The collective. It's all about the collective. It's all about the community for sure.
and also I started bringing in when you're talking about numbers, especially when you're talking to like lawmakers and stuff. There's a number that we can quantify for how many people are diagnosed, but you can't quantify how many people are impacted. So the point that I try to get across is that yes, we may have 1,000,000 people in America, but it's like 3,000,000 people or more in reality because every family is impacted. So, and that even
Absolutely.
drives the numbers up.
Yeah. Family, friends, workplace, communities. Absolutely.
That's so true. I never even thought of that. Like, yeah, they have the numbers for who's diagnosed, but who's really affected.
When you're diagnosed, you become an ambassador by default because you have to tell
Yes.
your loved ones and then you have to tell your friends and then you have to tell.
Yeah.
So, why not plug in to the society and tell people you don't know who might not know about. It's not just you telling the people you already told, you're just now involved and it's super easy. And it makes you feel like you're contributing and that this thing doesn't have full control over your life. And that's my plug for the ambassador programs.
Thank you.
You were diagnosed 6 years ago, and then I met you 4 years ago.
With a very progressive form.
Wow, you were
But
really like,
we
I mean,
were on a podcast together 3 years ago though, so yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. See,
Pretty
now you
early
know
on,
why I
you were.
keep repeating what I say. Do as much as I can, the ways I can, for as long as I can, because I know one day I got to get it in. I got to do it now when I have the energy, when I have the so. But again, each journey is unique, and I'm not saying that people should mirror how I've decided to process this disease. I mean, I'm fully in support of anybody who needs to take time to hold space, to stay home. Like, I'm not saying that by you living with a mess and you not going out and sharing your story immediately if you're not comfortable makes you any less of a person or any less of an advocate. I say the same thing you say, Nix. I say, if you live with MS, you are already ambassador. Your story matters. You can share the ways that you like to, but through our program, we can coordinate and provide resources and tools for you to go ahead and make that difference you're looking to achieve. So it's just a different kind of leadership volunteer. And not everyone's ready right away, and that's okay. That's not an expectation by any means. So
Very well said.
it's really important to acknowledge that and not say, oh, just because you're not raising a flag, that doesn't mean that you don't matter, that we appreciate you and we see you and we hear you. And when I take those meetings at Day on the Hill, I bring those voices with me into the room. I think about the people who are affected. I think about the people who aren't prepared to share their story or have some needs. And I think they just hope there's a little Karen out there or a little somebody who's like fighting for them when they can't, right? So that's why I carry that on my shoulders for sure in terms of wanting to do as much as I can.
Very well said. Happy MS Awareness Month to you up there.
Thank you.
Good luck with the walk. Terry will link how to donate directly to the walk, and let us say that the fight continues, and we'll talk soon. So thank you very much for stopping by today and sharing all that you did. I really, really appreciate that. That's what makes our show, that's what keeps Terry and I coming back, is people who are wanting to share with the world so that others don't feel so alone. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for allowing this space to share.
Really, really appreciate you.
I appreciate you guys too. You're doing amazing things and you're helping us. You're helping so many people. To your point, what you mentioned earlier, it's not just about the numbers of the people who are diagnosed with MS, but it's the communities, the families, the friends. So you have no idea how much this means to people as a whole in the world, and educating and holding that space for us. So thank you.
You're
And I'll
awesome.
just hold up my shirt one last time.
Presenting the OG, the
Yeah,
original.
go team. Go
Awesome.
team.
Awesome.
Can't wait. Hopefully it won't be 3 years, but I wish you both all the best.
I don't think so. I think we'll be talking. Thank you. All right, we'll talk soon.
Okay, great.
Good
All right,
luck.
take care. Bye. Thanks.
What a wonderful woman, Terry.
Yo.
What a story. I know we've had many different stories on here about many different places in life that our guests are in when the MS comes into their life.
Yeah.
But I don't think we've fully talked about how family planning is important. Honestly, I didn't, because my family was already planned. You know what I mean? So it's not something I think about or thought about at the time. So
Me too, right?
exactly.
Like I am.
And to get to a space where you feel comfortable sharing that with the world is amazing. So I don't lightheartedly, you know what I mean? Like it's a story that's got weight, and I give it its proper, I just feel.
I didn't say much, bro, because I didn't want to take away from what she's saying. I don't want
Right.
to
Me neither.
take away the classiness. I don't know
Right.
how to
No,
say
I
it.
get what you're saying.
I'm
right.
so grateful that she's sharing this, because there's
Me
people
too.
that want to know this and hear it.
Yeah. Such a great lady, doing so many good things. Like I said, Terry's going to link a bunch of stuff down below to get involved. If you're thinking about getting involved, it's a good time to start. It'll make you feel better. I can tell you that. So,
yeah.
All right, brother.
All right, man.
Until next week, we'll talk later. Everybody listening, reach out. You can find us on the socials. Glad that you stuck with us to the end, as always. And we'll talk soon.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Hey, there it is.
So check us out at 40belowzero.com. That's 4, the letter T, below0.com. Our email address is info@40belowzero.com. And if you don't want to email us, no problem. We're on Instagram as @40belowzero. Awesome. Looking forward to hearing from you, and we'll talk soon.